What if your ability to rethink, unlearn, and question your assumptions was the key to unlocking new levels of success and fulfillment? In Think Again, Adam Grant explores the power of rethinking, the ability to question what we know, challenge our beliefs, and stay open to new ideas. In a world that is constantly changing, being able to adapt and rethink is essential to thrive, both personally and professionally. In this audiobook summary by AudiblePages, we'll delve into the author's groundbreaking insights on how to cultivate the habit of rethinking. We'll learn why mental flexibility is critical for success, how to embrace the discomfort of uncertainty, and why the smartest people are not those who have all the answers, but those who are willing to question their own knowledge. By the end of this audiobook summary, you'll have practical takeaways that will help you challenge your assumptions, rethink old ideas, and open yourself up to new perspectives that can drive growth and innovation. Part 1. Individual Rethinking Chapter 1. The power of knowing what you don't know. The author opens by discussing one of the key concepts in the book, the power of intellectual humility. This means recognizing that what we know is limited and being open to the idea that we might be wrong. Most people cling to their beliefs because admitting they don't know something feels uncomfortable. However, the most successful individuals are those who embrace the idea that they don't have all the answers and are willing to learn. Think of a time when you resisted a new idea because it contradicted what you already believed. It's natural to want to defend your existing knowledge. But the author argues that growth happens when we acknowledge the gaps in our knowledge and remain open to learning. Start practicing intellectual humility by recognizing that it's okay not to have all the answers. Next time you're confronted with a new idea that challenges your beliefs, instead of dismissing it, ask yourself, what if I'm wrong? This mindset opens the door to learning and growth. Chapter 2. Rethinking is a skill you can develop. The author explains that rethinking isn't something reserved for the most brilliant minds. It's a skill that anyone can develop. By cultivating curiosity and staying open to new information, we can train ourselves to rethink our assumptions and beliefs. The key is to avoid getting stuck in a fixed mindset where we believe our intelligence or knowledge is static. Consider the difference between a beginner's mindset and an expert's mindset. Beginners are eager to learn, while experts can sometimes fall into the trap of thinking they already know it all. The author encourages us to adopt a beginner's mindset throughout our lives, always being curious and willing to learn more. Embrace a beginner's mindset by constantly asking questions and seeking out new perspectives. Make it a habit to challenge your own ideas and consider alternatives. This will help you stay open-minded and adaptable, even as you grow in expertise. Chapter 3. The joy of being wrong. In this chapter, the author introduces the idea that being wrong isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. When we're wrong, it's an opportunity to learn something new. The problem is that our ego often gets in the way, making us defensive when our ideas are challenged. However, the most successful people are those who can separate their ego from their ideas and enjoy the process of learning, even if it means admitting they were wrong. Think about how you react when someone challenges your opinion. Do you get defensive, or do you listen with an open mind? The author suggests that we need to learn to take joy in being wrong, as it means we're about to learn something new. Next time you're in a discussion or debate, practice embracing the joy of being wrong. Instead of defending your position at all costs, listen to the other person's perspective and ask yourself what you can learn from it. This shift in mindset will help you grow and adapt more quickly. Part 2. Interpersonal Rethinking Chapter 4. Argue like you're right, listen like you're wrong. The author emphasizes the importance of balance when it comes to interpersonal rethinking. On one hand, you need to defend your ideas with confidence. On the other, you need to listen to others as if you're the one who might be wrong. This approach allows for healthy, productive debates where both sides are open to changing their minds based on new information. Think of how many arguments you've seen where both parties are simply talking past each other, neither willing to budge. The author encourages us to argue with conviction, but also to listen with humility, always leaving room for the possibility that we might be wrong. In your next disagreement, approach it with the mindset of argue like you're right, but listen like you're wrong. This means presenting your ideas clearly and confidently, but also being willing to reconsider your position if new evidence is presented. It's this combination of confidence and humility that leads to better outcomes. Chapter 5. Persuading others to rethink. Rethinking isn't just about challenging your own beliefs. It's also about helping others do the same. The author offers strategies for encouraging others to rethink without triggering their defenses. One effective method is called motivational interviewing, where instead of telling people they're wrong, you ask questions that guide them to reconsider their views on their own. Consider a time when someone tried to change your mind by aggressively challenging your beliefs. It likely made you dig in your heels. The author explains that people are more likely to rethink when they feel in control of the process. Asking open-ended questions allows them to reflect on their beliefs and come to new conclusions naturally. When trying to persuade others, use questions rather than statements. Ask them why they believe what they do and how they arrived at their conclusions. This approach encourages self-reflection and makes them more open to rethinking their position. Chapter 6. The Power of Collective Rethinking. The author discusses the importance of creating cultures of rethinking within teams and organizations. In environments where questioning and challenging ideas is encouraged, innovation and growth thrive. Conversely, in cultures where people are afraid to speak up or challenge the status quo, organizations stagnate. Think of successful companies like Pixar, where team members are encouraged to offer feedback, challenge ideas, and collaborate openly. This culture of rethinking leads to continuous improvement and breakthrough innovations. Foster a culture of rethinking in your workplace or team by encouraging open dialogue and feedback. Make it clear that questioning assumptions and challenging ideas is not only welcome, but essential for growth. This will lead to more innovative thinking and better outcomes. Part 3. Collective Rethinking. Chapter 7. Rethinking in Leadership. The author explores how great leaders use rethinking as a tool for effective leadership. Rather than being rigid in their decisions, great leaders are adaptable and willing to change course when new information emerges. They're not afraid to admit when they're wrong and make adjustments accordingly. This openness to change earns them the respect and trust of their teams. Consider how leaders like Abraham Lincoln were known for their ability to change their minds when presented with new facts. Rather than seeing this as a sign of weakness, it demonstrated their strength and wisdom. If you're in a leadership position, practice rethinking by regularly reviewing your decisions and being open to feedback from your team. Don't be afraid to admit when a course of action isn't working and make adjustments as needed. This flexibility will improve your leadership and decision-making. Chapter 8. How to Rethink in Times of Crisis. In this chapter, the author explains that crises are often catalysts for rethinking. When faced with unexpected challenges, we're forced to rethink old ways of doing things and find new solutions. However, the key to thriving in a crisis is being proactive in rethinking rather than waiting for circumstances to force change upon us. Think of how the COVID-19 pandemic forced businesses and individuals to rethink their approaches to work, health, and everyday life. Those who were willing to adapt quickly were able to navigate the crisis more successfully than those who resisted change. Don't wait for a crisis to force you to rethink. Regularly evaluate your assumptions and practices, and be proactive in seeking new ways to improve. When a crisis does arise, approach it with a mindset of opportunity, using it as a chance to innovate and adapt. Chapter 9. The Benefits of Lifelong Rethinking. The author concludes by emphasizing that rethinking is not a one-time process. It's a lifelong practice. The most successful people and organizations are those that continuously question their assumptions, adapt to new information, and stay open to learning. By making rethinking a habit, you ensure that you're always growing, evolving, and staying ahead of the curve. Imagine the difference between someone who clings to their outdated knowledge and someone who is constantly learning, adapting, and improving. The latter will always be better prepared for whatever challenges the future brings. Commit to making rethinking a lifelong habit. Regularly question your beliefs, seek out new information, and stay open to changing your mind. This mindset will keep you adaptable, resilient, and always ready for new opportunities. Practical advice and wrap-up. Adam Grant's Think Again teaches us that the ability to rethink, question, and adapt is one of the most valuable skills we can develop in today's fast-changing world. Whether it's in our personal beliefs, professional practices, or leadership styles, rethinking allows us to stay flexible, learn from new information, and ultimately grow into better versions of ourselves. Start by identifying an area of your life or work where you've held onto a fixed mindset or outdated assumptions. Then apply the principles of rethinking. Ask questions, seek new perspectives, and be open to changing your mind. This willingness to adapt will not only lead to greater success, but will also help you build deeper, more meaningful connections with others. Are you ready to challenge your assumptions and rethink what you know? Begin today by embracing curiosity, questioning your beliefs, and opening yourself to new possibilities.